Hello, and welcome to Flourish, where we discuss how to nurture, coach, and inspire the children we love to develop their genius and flourish at any age. I'm your host, Diane Planadin, and a very proud parent of a very gifted son named Nicholas. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different, as it is Remembrance Day in Canada and the Commonwealth, Veterans Day in the United States, and Armistice Day in many parts of the world. The significance of this day is a day to remember, a day to honor those who have fallen to protect our countries and to protect our freedom. And the reason I wanted to talk to you about this today is because when you're raising a child, regardless of their age, and inasmuch as you want them to look towards the future and have a vision, have a goal, have a path, one of the ways we learn what to do in the future is by reviewing the past. Knowing our history, knowing what sacrifices, those before us have made, and why we enjoy such freedom. We are so free, especially here in Canada and the United States. We do not have the same historical burdens as other countries. There has not been a world war fought in our country. However, our countries have sent troops overseas to serve and protect the Commonwealth and other countries in order to maintain some type of world peace. If I had a superpower, that superpower would only be about world peace. Unfortunately, even in today's day and age, with all our modern advances and technology, there is still war torturing this globe of ours. And it's important to remember and respect the past and hopefully learn from it so we can find a better pathway in order to accomplish these things. I will specifically talk today more about Canadian Remembrance Day and the American Veterans Day, as I am in North America. However, I encourage you, wherever you are in the world, to speak to your children, to speak to your class, to speak to your friends about the importance and the symbolism of it all. On the 11th day of the 11th month of the 11th hour, in 1918, artillery came to silence. There was an agreement, an armistice, which meant that no one has surrendered, but everyone has agreed to stop the war and move on. It wasn't without a lot of discussion and debate, and I'm just going to say some countries had to pay more than others for the disparage that had occurred. And along the western front of France is where it all simply came to a stop. The history lesson is for educators to teach, as there's far too much history to go over in this episode. But if I gave you the Reader's Digest version, let's just say that because of Armistice, a truce really, the countries could move on. And inasmuch as Remembrance Day, Veterans Day, Armistice Day, November 11th, is the day that it was agreed upon, it wasn't really until the Treaty of Versailles that everything was nailed down with the details. So, wear a poppy. Wear a poppy and remember those who have fallen. Fallen to protect our country. Fallen to protect our freedom and our rights and our diplomacy. Because it's really important. And every little boy and girl grows up not thinking it will ever happen in their country. But look around. You're surrounded by it. The globe is not at peace yet. And let's all work towards that. And I bring this up in my episode because it's important to instill in your children to respect history, to learn from history, and to acknowledge what has happened. And then move forward, because there's so much more potential out there. But I'm going to talk further to the poppy and the significance of wearing the poppy. And I have a poppy on, and it's over my heart. And that is the proper way to wear a poppy, above your heart. And over the years, when there are different causes that are important to you, if you're wearing a pink ribbon for breast cancer or a green ribbon for mental health, whichever color ribbon, please always wear it over your heart, because that shows the compassion, that shows your spirit, and that your soul is being fed in order to help others in need. Each November, poppies bloom on the lapels of millions of Canadians and Americans alike. The significance of the poppy can be traced back to the Napoleonic Wars of the 19th century, over 110 years before being adopted in Canada. Records from that time indicate how thick poppies grew over the graves of soldiers in the area of Flanders, France. Fields that had been barren before battle exploded with the red, blood-colored flowers after the fighting ended. During the tremendous bombardment of the war, the chalk soils became rich in lime from the rubble, allowing the, and I'm going to say this wrong, but I'm going to try and say the Latin phrase, Papaver roeus, which is a poppy, to thrive. When the war ended, the lime was quickly absorbed and the poppy began to disappear again. I'm getting this information from the Royal Canadian Legion website. The person who first introduced the poppy to Canada and the Commonwealth was Lieutenant Colonel John McRae of Guelph, Ontario. He was a Canadian medical officer during the First World War, and John McRae penned the poem in Flanders Field, following the death of a soldier one day. In Flanders Fields, the poppies blow, between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky, the larks, still bravely singing, fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago. We lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high, if ye break faith with us who die. We shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders Field. And if you're looking for a more modern twist on that, look into Bob Dylan. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. It was quite eloquent, and I believe he actually recently received the Nobel Prize for Literature because of his thought-provoking lyrics. So thank you for that. Thank you, my friends, for listening. I am keeping today's episode quite short because we need to take a moment of silence and we need to remember the importance of teaching our children history and the significance of our fallen heroes and the ones that are still with us, which we are thankful for absolutely every day. This week, and thank my dear Nicholas for his music composition for the show. I'll see you next week.